So we welcome you all for the afternoon session on the title of Role of AI in Data Science by Dr.S. Vijayalakshmi, Associate Professor in the Data Science Department in Christ University, Pune. Ma'am has guided 2 PhD scholars and currently guiding 3 scholars. Ma'am has having many academic portfolios associated with her current position. Image processing and IoT are her area of interest. Ma'am has contributed many international as well as national level conferences and reputed journals. Ma'am has bagged with best paper awards in international conferences. Ma'am has published book chapters in Springer, Elsevier and CRC, and a few books are under process. Ma'am is also serving as a member of many academic bodies such as IFERP. Other than teaching, she is guiding the students in their research as well as academic related activities. On behalf of the organizing committee, WAIMS 2022, we welcome you to the session, ma'am, and the session is yours.
Okay, good afternoon all of you. Am I audible, ma?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Okay. So I am Dr.S. Vijayalakshmi. I think no need for any further introduction because she has just given the short profile of mine. Okay. So now I am here to just bring you an overview of what is actually data science. Because so many people, they are having a confusion what is actually a data science, because previously we are having the term data a long before also, and now only it is actually booming. And what is the reason for that? Why we are now worried so much about the data, and what is the importance of that, and what is the various applications the data science is playing, as well as I am also going to integrate this. As you all know, this data science is a multidisciplinary field. I am going to integrate this specifically with artificial intelligence. So we shall enter into the presentation. Whether my screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so as I have told you, we are now going to just see about artificial intelligence and data science. First, let me introduce to you what is actually data science, and then we will be also seeing certain terms about artificial intelligence, and then I'll be moving on to how this artificial intelligence is being related to data science. So just checking with the internet definition, you all can see here, data science is nothing but a study which is going to deal with vast volumes of data using modern tools and techniques to find unseen patterns and derive meaningful information and making business decisions. As well as this data science will be using some complex machine learning algorithms in order to build the predictive models. So shortly, if we want to say, okay, so we are having so much of noisy data which is actually in the actual form in order to understand certain things. Data science is nothing but it will be using various tools and techniques in extracting the knowledge as well as the insights from this noisy data. See, you may wonder why actually we want to extract the insights. See, whenever you want to make a decision, then you need some information from the data. So for that only, we are just approaching the data science. Okay. And this insights will be actually turned to actions. What actions specifically needed? Why for we are exploring that particular data. See, in simple terms, I want to just bring you what is actually data sciences. You all will be familiar with cooking. Am I correct? Dear audience, kindly any one of you respond. Are you aware of cooking?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Have you people ever entered into the kitchen? So first of all, if we want to prepare something, then the first step will be, we will be just Googling. You will check just the YouTube or some other websites, wherever you are actually familiar with and your favorite cooker is there. Okay, you will be just reading the recipe in order to know about what is the methodology and what are the ingredients which are needed for preparing a particular food. And then as a next step, what will you be doing? You will be just gathering the raw materials. That is, for example, suppose I want to make a vegetable sabji. Okay. Then I'll be just buying the onions and then the tomato, carrot, beans, whatever I want to put into that recipe. And as such, I cannot put that. Before using that for cooking, I need to clean them. Okay. And after cleaning that, I need to prepare it, which is aptly used for my particular recipe. That is cutting and chopping. See, for example, in cutting and chopping also, there are different things. See, for example, if you are going to make a sambar, then that cutting will be different. And if you are going to make a fry, then that will be different. So you need some preparation. And then also you need to prepare some intermediate things. For example, the masala, whichever you want to put into that sabji, that you need to prepare. And then only comes the step of cooking. Okay, so before cooking itself, you are in need of doing so many things. Okay, and then you will be presenting either to your family members or you will be just packaging it to deliver it to some neighbors. Okay, so whatever it may be, the presentation and packaging also does matter. So if you visualize this cooking methodology, so here itself you can find the cooking will be maximum taking some 10 to 20 minutes only, depending on the type of preparation. Okay, but before that, reading the recipe, material gathering, cleaning, preparation, all these things and preparing the intermediate items, this will be taking 70% of your time. Okay, rather than the cooking as comparatively to the cooking. So what I aim to tell is we can just relate this cooking methodology to your data science methodology. Okay, so as you see here, whenever you want to solve a particular problem or whenever you want to refine your product, whenever you want to develop a new strategy for your business, then you will be actually going for this data science methodology. So here what actually is being done? First of all, business understanding is needed. Maybe it will be differing from the person who is actually going to perform the data science methodology. Okay, for example, just imagine that I need to collect a data for some COVID-19. Okay, so when I am visiting the hospitals, I may not be aware of all those medical terms. Okay, so there I need the understanding of that medical problem. Okay, so this is what actually called as the business understanding. So first of all, we need to brainstorm with the business users who actually will be identifying the potential use cases for that data analytics. They will be actually telling you how it should be done and what should be done. Then comes the data gathering. Okay, so after understanding the business problem, we will be tending to just collect the data. Here, before collecting, actually, you need to identify the data sources. For example, whenever you are going for any project work or something else, then usually your mentors will be saying, just collect the data adhering to only the recent periods. For example, 2 years back or 3 years back, something like that. So first of all, as well as they will be quoting you some websites. So here, this type of data will be very good like that. Okay. So whenever you are gathering the data, before you are gathering the data, you should be aware of which is the reliable source to get that particular data. Okay. And then you need to perform the data cleaning. So we will be actually seeing an example at the end of this data science show, how to actually pre-process the data. Okay. As I told you, subject cleaning, here you need to make the data in a form which is actually needed for your further processing. That is called as the data cleaning. You are going to remove the unwanted things as well as erroneous things available in the data set, and then you are making that ready for your process. Then the data exploration. So here, what actually you are going to do? Here you will be identifying the data with the insights. Okay, what you are able to gather from the particular data, what are you able to understand, and what are the useful information you can just gather or derive from that particular data. So that is actually called as data exploration. Then comes the data visualization. See, data visualization is nothing but here you will be having so many things, but you need to just focus on only certain things. Okay, so for that you need to create the visualization in such a way that you can better understand the field of interest or the data of interest. Okay, and how you are going to relate one data to another. And next comes the feature engineering. So here also, how we are going to gather or extract the meaningful features from the raw data in a way which is expected by the expert. And then the data analytics. So here actually we will be using our modeling and training techniques in order to forecast the data. Okay, finally bringing the product or packaging. So here we will be actually scheduling the model runs, and then we will be just checking whether our models are running in a good way or not. Okay, so this is how we can relate the cooking methodology with the data science methodology. I think now you will be better understanding how we will be performing the data science. Okay, and here when you consider the data science, this is not a single field. It is an integration of three things. Okay, so you can visualize the data science as a combination of three things. As I told you the process, first you need a domain expertise, because see, when you just visualize the data scientist or a data engineer, they will be usually from the computer science field. Okay, but when you consider the application areas may be towards anything. For example, the financial sector, or you may want to develop a model for health science or some educational institute or agricultural field, whatever it may be. Okay, so many applications are available for data science, but as a computer science expert, we may not be aware of all these things. So we need a domain expertise who will be explaining to you what is actually needed. So domain expertise is needed here. Okay, so here actually they will be dealing with the statistical research as well as the data processing. And when you view the data science in the point of view of computer science, the data processing, and then you will be developing the machine learning models. That is mainly we are concerned with the coding part as well as the model preparation. And also mathematics background is needed, or data science can be viewed as a combination of mathematics. So here you will be actually having statistical research as well as the machine learning. So like this, you can just view the data science. Okay. And what are all we can do with the data science? So that mainly you might have heard the terms analytics. So what is actually analytics? You might have heard of financial analytics, marketing analytics. Okay. So data analytics is also there. And what are the various types of analytics in the point of view of data science? Okay. So we can just categorize the analytics into 5 different steps based on the complexity of the process as well as the value it is going to bring in. Okay. Based on these 2 things, you can categorize the analytics into 5 various types. First, or the innermost one, is the descriptive analytics. Next one is the diagnostic analytics. Third one is the predictive analytics. Fourth one is the prescriptive analytics. And the final one is the cognitive analytics. So what is actually descriptive analytics? See, first of all, you need to understand what is happening. Okay. So, for example, you want to analyze the best institute to join for further studies. Then what will you be doing? You will be visiting that college website and how the admissions are going on. What is the demand ratio? Like that, you will be just analyzing how far the students, in what ratio the admission is being taken. Okay. So like this, various, yes. Are you able to follow? Kindly, any one of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, like this, you will be analyzing various things. Okay. So, first of all, you need to know what is happening. So, for understanding what is actually happening, you are in need of accurate data or the correct data. Then only you will be performing effective exploratory data analysis. Okay. So the first type of analytics we will be performing is the descriptive analytics, in order to know what is actually happening and which enforces us to get the accurate data. The next level is the diagnostic analysis or the diagnostic analytics. So here we are going to focus on why it happened. Okay. So first of all, we are checking what is actually happening, and next we are analyzing why it has actually happened. So here, as the question itself says, we are going to find the root cause for the happening. Okay. You are going to find out the root cause for the happening. And here you will be actually separating all the patterns in the point of view of data. So in the first step, you are doing the exploratory data analysis. And here you are just separating all the patterns. And the third type of analytics is the predictive analytics. So what is actually predictive analytics? As the name suggests you, here we tend to know what will happen in the next future. That is actually the outcome prediction. Okay. So here, in order to know that, you will be choosing the right algorithm and you will be building some right business strategies. Okay. So the third step is what is likely to happen in the near future. That is called as predictive analytics. The fourth type of analytics is nothing but prescriptive analytics. So what is prescriptive analytics? So we are here So far we have analyzed what is likely to happen. Okay, so now we need to think of what we need to do. Okay, so that is actually called as the prescriptive analysis. So here we will be using the advanced analytics. Okay, so for understanding what is the best recommended action for a particular outcome, okay, we need to perform advanced analytics. So here we will be coming out with the recommended actions. That is actually called as the prescriptive analytics. Next step is the cognitive analytics. So what is actually cognitive analytics? That cognition theory you all will be better heard of before itself. Okay, so here actually we are going to perform neurological and behavioral analysis, which is actually related to the human intelligence. Okay, so like this, there are various types of analytics. So descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, prescriptive, and cognitive. And simple words to say, first we know what is happening, then why is it happening, then what is likely to happen in the next future, then what do I need to do with respect to that, and then we will be thinking in the point of view of human brain. Okay, so this is how the various types of analytics are being done. And when you consider the data science, you might have heard of so many words: data scientist, data analyst, data engineer. Okay, so many things, and sometimes you will be combining those things with some other term. For example, analytical engineer. Okay, as well as data scientist, say data science researcher. So many terms are there. Okay, so what actually their performance is? As I have told you, in the data science methodology, we are having the mainly two phases. One is the pre-processing, and then another one is the making of the model. Okay, so usually the data scientist will be in the final phase. The analytics engineer and data engineers will be in the baseline. So data engineers will be firstly performing the data processing, all the data preparation steps they will be involved with, and the models will be analyzed by the analytics engineer, and finally the touch will be tested by the data scientist. Okay, so this is how the various roles of the data science involved positions. And when you look into the life cycle of data science, okay, so as I have told you, first you need the data. For that you need to find the reliable source. So whatever may be the source, you will be just getting the data, which is actually called as the data acquisition. Okay, as well as you can enter the data. Sometimes it may be the signal or data extraction also. Okay, and then you will be maintaining those data in a form of data warehouse, where you also will be dealing with data cleansing, data staging, data processing, and then the data architecture. So here is what actually you are going to pre-process the data. And you will be performing various data mining techniques as well as clustering, classification, data modeling. Actually, what you people are doing here? See, here we are going to bring the data into a model where it is actually best usable to our particular application. Then we will be performing analysis as we have seen, predictive analysis or some regression modeling or text mining, whatever it may be. And then after doing that, we will be communicating as through some forms. Either it may be a data report or it may be a visualization. For example, sometimes suppose you want to show the salesman sales report, then you will be showing it through the bar chart. Okay, that is actually called as the visualization techniques. Through any means, in whatever way it is expected, you can just show the data. Okay, or it may be a business intelligence model where you will be performing some decision making process also. So through some way we are going to communicate. So it depends on the expectation. So whatever it may be, the basic thing is it will be following only these 5 steps in the life cycle. So first you will be capturing the data, then you need to maintain the data, then process the data, perform the analysis, then communicate in the way it is being required by the end user. So what are the prerequisites for data science? As you all know, we need to store the data, as well as you need to extract the data, and you need to explorate the data, visualize the data. Then you need to bring the data into the end user expectation, as well as it needs to be integrated with some intelligence factors also. So for all these things, you need to understand the database technology, programming, statistics, then modeling, as well as the machine learning. So these are the various things which are needed in order to understand the data science methodology. So for performing all these things, you are having various data science tools, as you can see here. For data analysis, you are having SAS, Jupyter, RStudio, MATLAB, Excel, and RapidMiner. And for warehousing, you are having the Redshift. And for visualization, either you can go for Tableau or Power BI or Jupyter. And for machine learning, you can just go for this Spark or Azure. Okay, whatever it is, depending on the type of the application. And when you see the application of data science, you can't leave any of the field. So for a diagrammatic representation, I might have included only something, but you can't eliminate any of the field from the application of data science. See, whenever you enter into anything, there you find the application of data science. Either it may be from simple and smaller size, and it may run to a smart artificial intelligence enabled and large size of data. Okay, so nowadays, as you visualize, so many modern gadgets have came in. Because of those electronic gadgets, we are receiving so much of data, which usually you will be calling as a big data. And that is why we find this data science a blooming factor now. Because even before a long time, even before so many decades also, the data science is actually in use. For example, just you think of the simple Excel. So in Excel, if you want to filter something, that is also equivalent to a data processing. And if you are going to sort the data, that is also a data processing. Okay, so wherever you go, for example, whenever you want to go to a temple or some place, then you will be just searching in the website when that particular mall will be opening and when it will be closing. That is also a data processing. So wherever you go, data science plays an important role. For example, banking sectors. So nowadays you are very capable of just checking what is the balance at your hands. Okay, you need not go to the bank or you need not call to the bank manager. Just with the mobile app, you will be able to check. As well as you can visualize what are the transactions you have done. And within a fraction of a second, lakhs of money can be transferred from one account to another account. Okay, so all these things, that is also data processing only. And when you consider here, banking sector, financial, manufacturing, transport, healthcare, e-commerce, all these things are integrated with the data science. For example, suppose you want to know the bus timing, then you will be very well able to find out. Okay, so like that. And with the existing diagnostic factors, you will come to know what type of disease has affected you. Okay, so how it is done? Based on the data, whichever they have diagnosed. Okay, so every application now involves data science only. Now, let us see a case study how to derive useful insights. Kindly let me know. Am I audible? Are you following?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So just a sample here. We all are now fond of performing online transactions and online purchase. Even for a nail polish or a lipstick. Nowadays, we feel lazy to go and shop. Okay. By sitting at our home, I want the person to deliver the item whichever I want. Okay. So many items we are purchasing every day. But ever we thought of, have you analyzed? For example, so for this first week, how many items I have purchased and what type of items I have mostly purchased, either the grocery items or the cosmetics, or which item actually I have purchased for a large amount, and how many transactions maximum I have done, or what is the average transaction of mine related to this. Like that ever we have analyzed? No. Previously, when we are just having the cash in our hand and we are spending, then we will be just doing the calculations. So for this medicine, we have spent some 50 rupees and for cosmetics, some 100 rupees. Something like that we will be writing in our notebook and we will be just calculating and balancing also. Whether the amount which we have had in our hand and what are the amount we have spent, whether it is tallying or not. Something like that. But nowadays, everything has become digitized and just in a mobile, with a single click, we are just performing the transaction and we are unaware of how much we are spending every day. Okay. So we can just do a case study on our real life. And then we can derive so many useful insights from that, which is actually the data science. Okay. So for example, consider the Amazon purchase. I want to just find out how much I have spent in that Amazon purchase, as well as I want to also know about which item I have purchased for the maximum amount and which item I have purchased for the minimum amount, something like that. Okay, so how it can be done? So what are the steps I have actually told for performing the data science methodology, or what is the life cycle of data science? So the first step is you need to find out you need to get the data set. Okay. So now you want to just focus on only your real-time data, which you have purchased in Amazon. So for that, you need not get any permission. So the Amazon website itself provides you a report on your orders. So easily you can just get through it. Just enter into amazon.com. Okay. So you just go to amazon.com and you can visualize the screen like this here. And you can just click on accounts and list option, which is available on the right hand side. Near to the cart and orders, you are having the accounts and list. Okay. And here you can just go to your orders. Okay. So like this, if you enter, you will be visualizing the order history report. So in the order history report, in the report type, you just select the orders and shipments. And then, for example, I want to know in the year 2020, how much item I have purchased from Amazon. Okay. So just select the start date and end date accordingly. by selecting the last year, or quick set option, you can just select the last year also. And then you can request the report. I think you can visualize here in the yellow color. Are you able to see the screen clearly?
Yeah, clear, madam.
Okay, so in the request report button is there, you can just click on, so that you will be able to see the report down. For example, down, I think some rows you can visualize your reports. So suppose if you have bought in Amazon India, then for that the report will not be available here. Okay, so for that one, you need to actually enter into the Chrome Web Store. So how it can be done? So that also you can just go for that chrome.google.com/web store, and in that you can just enter Amazon order history report, which is actually shown here in the screen. Okay, and then you will be able to add this extension. So just click on add extension, so that your Amazon order report, this history will be now linked to your that amazon.com. Okay, so now you just enter into this, click on the year 2020. Okay, now you will be able to download the data set which you have actually purchased. Okay, these are all your orders. So here you can just see the CSV model. Okay, the sheet has been, I think you will be knowing what is actually CSV, comma separated by values. Okay, in that format, the data set will be downloaded. Now your data set is actually ready. So the first step we have done, you have collected the data. Now you need to make the data ready. How to make the data ready? Whenever what type of insight you want to gather, based on that, you need to perform some pre-processing. Okay, so here actually I told you I want to just look into the amount, how much I have purchased. Okay, so I am going to mainly concentrate on the amount, with the amount of purchase only. That numerical data I want to work on. So my insight is now that one. For that, I need to make the data ready. So now we will see how we are going to make this data ready for our insight. Okay, so now you just visualize the data sheet. So here you are having so many columns like order ID, items, to, date, total, shipping, so on. Okay, these are the various column headings. Now let us see how we are going to approach in order to drive our insight. Okay, so you all will be aware of the Jupyter notebook. So here just you import the pandas, and then you just import the data set also. You read the CSV file. So now I am not going to be more technical in this. Okay, so now we have just you imagine that you have imported your data set into Jupyter. Okay, so now let us just find out the number of rows. So here I have made some 53 transactions in that year 2020. So my number of rows, that length I have got as 53. Okay, and also I wanted to know what are the various columns which are available in my data set. So you can just list out the column names by using this column s.columns. That is, the s is nothing but the data frame name. Okay, so I am not more into the Python. Okay, just I will be telling you in the point of view of data science. Okay, so now I have understood that I have made 53 transactions, as well as I have understood what are all the various columns available in my data set, like order ID, items, to, date, total, shipping, shipping refund, gift, VAT, refund, payments. Okay, see now if you analyze them, sometimes some column headings, like for example, the order ID is having a space in between, and this VAT is actually having the whole what to say, capital letters, something like that. So you can just rename them into meaningful column names. Okay, order ID instead of simply items, because whatever items I have purchased, that is only being shown in the data set. Okay, so I want to rename that items into purchased item. Okay, and here to the particular person whom they have delivered. Amazon has delivered to the customer. Okay, so the customer name 2 is nothing but the customer name, and date is nothing but the order date, when I have placed the order. That date is actually relating to the date. So now I am renaming the column names in the way which can be better understandable to me. Okay, so this is nothing a big problem. You can have as it is also, but whenever you are going to display or generate a report, then if this column headings are giving you a meaningful what to say, meaningful relation to what actually the data set is inside the data set, then it will be easy for you to interpret. So for your understanding purpose, you can just rename. For example, always whenever you are going to input 2 numbers for finding a sum, okay, then first number you will be entering as number 1, second one number 2, and then the third you will be giving the variable name as sum. Why we are giving a sum? Even you can give it as number 3, in order to understand that that particular variable is holding the sum of the 2 values. So whenever any other person also see, or a long time after you have made the coding, if you visualize that also, you will be able to understand for what purpose you have just created that variable. Okay, so for easy reference, we are just naming it like this. So the next step is, in order to bring the useful insights, how we want the column names should be. So now I want my column names should be meaningful. So I am just using those column names whichever I want, and I have renamed the file. Okay, always you need to just copy the renamed one into some reference so that you will be able to display the actual column headings. Okay, so first I have given a meaningful name. What is the next step? Now I want to actually minimize my processing time. So how we will be usually minimizing the processing time? Whenever you are going to eliminate the unwanted things, then the runtime will be actually reduced. So here, for example, the gift, whichever we have got for that purchase, that is actually unnecessary to this particular insight. That is, I want to just see the amount. Okay, so whichever is not necessary. For sample, I have taken gift. If we are not in need of anything like that, then that can also be removed. Okay, because if you want to clearly understand the transaction type, then payment medium is also needed. Okay, so because of these things, all the other things I want to have in my data set except this gift. So that gift alone I am finding not relevant to this particular insight derivation. So I am removing the gift. So by drop, you can remove the gift. Okay, now the gift has been removed. So now I want to just find out the amount. Okay, when you visualize the amount column, here actually it is available as a string only. It is not a numeric value. Okay, as well as it is prefixed with RS dot, which corresponds to rupees. So if you want to perform the arithmetic operation on this data set, then you need to remove this rs dot as well as the space. So these two things are needed to be done before I process the data. So first thing is renaming. Next one is removing of unwanted. So in the removing of unwanted, first one we have found that we need to just convert the strings into a floating value, and also the prefix rs dot should be removed, as well as if you just visualize the 51st row, you can see 4 comma 797. So that comma is also not needed for the processing. It should be removed. Okay. So for all these things, you will be using the respective Python commands, and then you need to just eliminate them and make the data ready for our process. Okay. And also in this data set, if we are finding actually in the last row also some unwanted thing was present, so that can be removed by slicing. So by whatever method you want to do the pre-processing, you need to perform, and you need to make the data ready for your insight. Okay, so now my insight is what I want to derive. I want to derive the total amount. So for that, I need these pre-processing. Okay, so all these things are done. Now I can just display the amount. Okay, so 54,649 I have just spent in the year 2020 through Amazon. Okay, so this is what I want to actually derive. Like this, any of the application you can consider, and then you can just do the data preparation based on what are the useful insights you are going to derive. So for deriving that insight, in what way you need to prepare your data set, all these things are the pre-processing steps. For example, sometimes you might have heard the terms like missing values and then duplicates, okay, null values. So all these things matter, as well as the data format, in whichever way we want to actually approach. Okay, so for example, one simple thing I want to say, suppose we are going to drive a car or even the cycle, you assume, okay, a two-wheeler or a cycle. If you are going to drive the cycle, then the speed of the wind will be affecting your driving speed or not. Can any one of you say? Are you listening?
Participants, kindly respond.
Yes, ma'am. I listening.
Okay, just a question I posted. When you are driving a cycle, whether the speed of the wind matters to your cycling speed or not?
Yes, ma'am, it matters.
Okay. So, for example, there will be an opposite wind. There will be a wind which will be flowing in your direction, and a wind which will be crossing you diagonally. Okay. So, depending on these three types of forces, your driving speed will be different. So, simply if the wind speed alone, if you are going to consider, then you cannot achieve the accuracy as you expect. Okay. So, suppose you want to find out the impact of the speed of wind on your driving speed, then you cannot consider the speed of the wind only in the single direction. Okay, you need to consider it in different angles. So you need to cast into three patterns this wind itself. Then only your accuracy will be correct. So like this, you need to consider what are all the features that will be having an impact on your problem, and in that feature also whether you can directly take the measure, or you need to categorize it, or you need to split it, or you need to pre-process it, how you are going to perform it. Whether taking the numerical value will be having an impact, or categorizing that into different things will be having an impact, how we will be reaching the correct accuracy. So like that, you need to just understand, in order to derive a particular insight, how you need to focus on the various features of the data. So here, just a simple thing I have told you, I want to focus only on the total amount paid. So for that, no specially pre-processing is needed. Just the amount whichever I have paid in every transaction should be very clear. So that I have just concentrated on whether the numerical value is there, the numerical value is not available. So I have converted the string to the numeric, and then it is prefixed by rupees dot. So I have removed that rupees dot. Then also in between some comma for separating the values are present in order to follow the Indian currency system. So that is also should be removed. So I have done that also. And then I have found that this gift is unwanted, so that whenever I am processing, it will increase my processing time only. So I have removed that also. So like this, you need to understand what are all the different pre-processing you need to perform on the data set. So for that, you need to first very well, you need to understand the data set. And also you need to know how much or how far you can get the best insights from that. These are all the things needed to understand whenever you are performing the any data science methodology. Next, let me come to the artificial intelligence. So why we need to integrate artificial intelligence and data science? So for example, just you think of, I want to listen a song which is actually played recently. Okay. So for that, usually what we will be doing, already you all know that Google is also following or tracking, and that from that history, our browsing history, it will be able to show you the recent history. So if you just type in the first 3 letters or 4 letters, then auto suggestions will be coming in. Okay, so that is also an artificial intelligence which is based on data processing. And more than that, improved one, you can just call Alexa. Okay, so that it will be playing for you whatever you need. So why we are performing the, or why we are in need of data science? In order to solve some problem, or in order to make something intelligent, we are working on the existing data. Okay, for example, if you want to make a decision on a particular thing, then we will be just analyzing the past history. For simple thing, if you are asking a solution to your problem to a 10-year-old child, then 25-year-old woman, then 50-year-old woman, there will be a difference. Why? Because of the experience. They just trace through the past history, and then they will be providing you the solution. Okay, so that is what we need in data processing. Suppose if it is to be automated, then we go for this artificial intelligence. For a problem, just if I type in the problem, then the solution should come on the screen. This is the way I expect. Then we go for this smart intelligent systems, which is actually the artificial intelligence. So here, what is actually natural intelligence? We also learn by experience. By birth, we are not possessing anything, but in due course, we are able to learn something. Suppose we are not aware of something, then it will be unknown to us only. When we are being aware of something, that will be just embedded in our knowledge. So when we just visualize the data, the first one on the left hand side, various sources of data are coming from. Okay. So from the space, from the system, through the mobile, whatever it may be, so many sources are coming in various forms also. You will be listening to your voice, you can see the picture, you can hear the sound, you can visualize the images, you can see the light. So like that, you are having various types of data also. So this actually we are calling as a big data. But whatever form it is, we are able to recognize and we are able to categorize. And by seeing the picture just on the right hand side, you all will be able to recognize it is a thief. And when I am showing you the alphabets, you will be very well saying what is A and what is Z. So how it is being done? Through practice, through learning. And suppose if you are asked to make a decision also through learning and by proper reasoning, we are able to do that also. This is what actually the natural intelligence. The same way, if we embed all these things into the machine, then machine can be able to learn, and then it will be able to make decision by its own. So that is actually the artificial intelligence. So we are able to just process whether it is a structured data or unstructured data. So can you just tell me what is a structured data and what is unstructured data? Are you listening?
Yes, ma'am. Structured data will be like table format, whereas the unstructured data will be like images or tags.
Yeah, simple thing you can say, suppose I am sending you a table of data through Excel sheet. It is actually structured. Suppose I am texting a message to you through the mobile, it is nothing but a unstructured data. So whenever you are having the Instagram, Twitter, whatever, so many things, okay, you will be having the unstructured data. But we are able to process even the massive amount of data, as well as whether it is structured or unstructured. As well as we will be able to learn based on the historical patterns. And we can find reasoning, either it may be deductive or inductive, and we will be just drawing the inferences based on the situation. As well as whenever there comes a problem solving situation, that can also be done. So all this can be now done by the artificial intelligence also. So now we are actually having AI, which is narrow intelligence. We are having the probability and possibility to go for general intelligence as well as super intelligence. What is actually general intelligence and super intelligence? Artificial narrow intelligence is what is existing nowadays. That is for some specific task. Suppose you want to perform something specifically, so it will be programmed and then it will do. More than that, it cannot do. For example, suppose I am having a washing machine. It is having the embedded system, which will be performing up to the drying one. It will not take your cloth and hang it on the hanger. More than that, it cannot do. It will be doing for what it is meant for, whatever you have directed it to do. So that is actually called as artificial narrow intelligence, like a master slave. Whatever the master orders, that will be done by the slave, nothing more than that. Even if it is wrong or if it is right, the slave will be doing that. Like that, it will be. But what is general intelligence? So here actually, it will be comparable to human. And if it is bypassing the human, like you might have seen the movie Endiran, okay, so that is actually the super intelligence. Anyway, all are expected to come, but we don't know whether it will be happening or not. So in many ways, we are having so many differences between narrow intelligence, general AI and super AI. As you can see here, the purpose as well as the model, and then the awareness, data processing, knowledge transfer, like this. Okay. And when we think of this artificial intelligence, we are coming across the term machine learning, neural networks, deep learning, so and so. Okay. And based on the functionality, we can divide the artificial intelligence to 4 types. One is the reactive, another one is the limited memory, then the next one is the theory of mind, then the self-aware. Okay. So here, suppose if it is well and good, it is doing the classification and pattern recognition like this, then it will be called as the reactive AI. But it cannot just understand the historical things and then react based on that. Okay. But if it is able to handle complex tasks, and if it is able to analyze the historical data, and it is able to make predictions based on that, that is called as limited. So here it will be having only the limited memory. And here now this is the current state of our artificial intelligence. Okay. And if it is reaching to the level of humans means, then that is actually called as the third type. And if it is bypassing, that will be the fourth type. And what are the various components of artificial intelligence? As you all know, it needs learning. As I have told you, as a human being, we also learn. We are learning till our death. Okay. And perception. So what is actually perception? Can any one of you say? Dear, are you listening? What is actually perception? So we will be getting some information, and how we are going to select them, and how we are going to interpret them, how we are going to organize them. Okay, so that is actually the perception. And the reasoning, language understanding, problem solving. So you might have heard of the word natural language processing, which will be very much helpful for this language processing. And why you need the artificial intelligence? Now we are in the competitive world. In order to perform everything easily, effectively, accurately, and then fastly, we are moving towards the AI. As well as we need to access the data at whatever time we like, whenever we like, wherever we are. So that accessibility we need. And because of artificial intelligence, we need not have the fear of missing the data. So because in due course, we will be forgetting certain things, but the machine need not. Machine will not. As well as 1,000 labor works can be incorporated in a single machine. As well as it is the proof of the future. So for all these things, we are in need of artificial intelligence. So as you see, the purpose, what it is being served for, all the human capabilities can be aided with AI. You can't say that it can be replaced it can be aided with the human capabilities. See, for example, nowadays you are having so many video lectures. Whether you find the same effect, for example, now I am giving you the online webinar, but it will be more effective if a live presentation is there. It can be more interactive also. Okay, so we can say that it can aid the human capabilities, but you cannot replace it. Okay, as well as we can predict far-fetched consequences. See, when you consider the human being, we are having certain limitations. So at a time, you cannot search within a second some lakhs and lakhs of data, but the machine will be able to do. Okay, so that is also the hardship of human labor. So all these things can be done with the help of the artificial intelligence. So how you will be able to achieve? Just you can think of all these things: machine learning, natural language processing, expert systems, vision, speech, planning, robotics. All these are some of the applications of AI. And what actually machine learning? You all will be very well known, I think, what is actually machine learning. So we are making the machine to think in the same way as the human being are. Okay, so that is actually the machine learning process. Here we will be defining some steps in order to perform something, so that further the machine will be able to just perform the same task by extending the knowledge. And another important thing for AI is the natural language processing. So here we are making the machine able to understand the speech as well as the text by means of the software tools. See, for example, as a one thing I can quote, email spam detection. So here your AI will be able to distinguish between which is the actual mail and which should be categorized as the spam mail, depending on the regularity of the mails and the content of the mail and the nature of the mail and the source from which you are going to get. Based on so many criteria, it will perform the analysis and then it will be categorizing as a ham mail as well as the spam mail. That is the one of best example for NLP. And then the vision. So you all know that by means of the camera, you can make the system also visible. And then the robotics. So maybe sometimes it will be, not sometimes, most of the times, human will be getting the tiredness, but the machine will not be. This is the main reason why we are switching into machines for work. For example, easily you can replace the police officers, patrolling, some surveillance like that can be done through the robots and the autonomous vehicles. So now we are having the vehicles which are driven automatically without any driver. You might have heard of that. So in all these fields, we are capable of using AI, human resources, supply chain, fraud detection, predictive analytics in various fields, so many customer services, and finding the risk management, and in the field of research and development. So if you take all the fields, each and every field, it will be having not a complete implementation of AI, we can say, but it will be always having some smart application. So we can say that in most of the fields, you find the application of AI. For example, if you consider the healthcare, it can take care of the patient's history as well as the imaging process and diagnostic process, and then in the management area, as well as in the research and development. If you consider the patient care, what are the things where you can incorporate the artificial intelligence? For example, automated diagnosis and prescription. Nowadays, medical field is found to be so much commercial as well as expensive. And in the COVID, I think most of you might have experienced this online medical system. See, if you just type in the symptoms, it will be able to come up with the solution as well as the remedy and what medication you need to take for that. No need to visit the doctor, no need to fix any appointment. Nothing is needed. Everything is eliminated. Just the medicine also you order online and get it through. Okay. So, that is what AI plays. And also, the waiting patients also you can just give a priority based on their nature of medical issue. And patient data analytics can be made automated. So all these things, so many things. As soon as you enter into the hospital, you will be directed correctly to the required stage. All the preliminary investigation, everything will be automated so that you need not wait for each and everything then. So this is how the AI in healthcare for patient care works. As well as if you come to the medical imaging section, from the medical images, you can derive useful insights. For example, if a person is having a cancer or not, brain tumor or not, whether the child within the fetus is perfect or not, whether the person is going to have any disease in future, that can also be done through early diagnosis. Some proactive modeling can be designed. Okay, so many things can be done, as well as now the instruments, then the surgery are also automated. Without the presence of physically the physician, nowadays we are able to handle the surgery also. That is the advancement in the medical field with the help of AI. So like this, we can go on adding like gene analytics, new drugs can be discovered. Okay. So everything need not be lively tested and done on the human being. With the help of AI, we will be able to automate and simulate each and everything. So the AI is now solving most of our problems. And at another end, if you just check with the HR role, it is able to understand the employee problems, then onboard recruitment, that is the hiring process, training process, then performance analysis, each and everything can be automated. And for example, you might have seen always we are using the online transaction, so that fraud identification can also easily be done. So because of AI, nowadays there is a good career opportunity as well as, and if you combine that with the data science, then many wonders can be done. How we are going to do that? We are having so many opportunities in both the fields, but if both are integrated, then we will be having a good future. So now let us see how AI in data science. Now we want to develop an intelligent system for any of the application. Means first and foremost thing is the data analysis. So here comes the data science. So here we will be focusing on the data science, And next we will be focusing on data engineering, which is concentrating on the scalable infrastructure, and finally integrating them with either the machine learning as well as the software engineering steps. We will be moving on to develop an AI enabled system which is capable of handling a particular problem. So, how this AI is relating to data science? See, as you have seen, we have done so many things and brought the data in order to have a useful insights. With the insights, what we are actually going to do. For example, the simple thing, you just see the weather monitoring system. For example, suppose if the weather monitoring system is going to give a alert to your mobile automatically, then your mother need not worry about the clothes which has been dried outside. So this is how data science and AI can be related. Okay. So with the data, you will be able to tell that rain is going to come, but it should be delivered correctly to the respective person where AI plays a role. Developing or bringing the same visualization, data visualization as a smart application. And how you can perform the predictive analysis. For example, now the sales is like this. In order to bring the sales in the near future to something else, what I need to do. So that analysis can be done with the means of tools which are used by data science as well as by the AI. So this is how we are going to relate the data science into the AI. The simple example I have told you, the Alexa. So here we will be able to discover the new insights, and then we can predict the outcomes, and then we can just unify the analytics as well as the customer data, and then we can forecast the demand. For example, simple thing, you can have the folio management which will be suggesting you whether you need to invest your Bitcoin or not, or in which shares you need to invest. So automatically your folio management smart system will be daily popping up to you. Where to invest, how to invest, how much amount to invest, everything like that. So these are some of the AI analytics tools. And this is what categorizes the data science and artificial intelligence. What is actually data science is and what is actually AI does. So here we are going to just bring in the data only in the form which will be better used by any of the smart system. So in data science also we will be using so many number of tools for analyzing the data, and here in AI we will be just using so many tools in order to make it as a smart system. So the examples, if you visualize, for example, using data science, you can just make a financial analysis and you can just have the customer trends like that. So for example, in the match, who will be winning the next, that can be analyzed based on the history. But you need a model which will be running at the behind by analyzing all this data and predict who will be the winner of the match currently based on the history. So this is how AI and data science can be related. So you might have just checked with Hello Barbie doll, which is the first human voice, and it will be able to understand the nature of the opposite person who is actually interacting with, and able to answer the queries, and it is able to find out the interest of that person, everything that is done through the AI. And another thing, useful thing, is the Uber, Ola, those things. So just a simple example, if you analyze the Uber or Ola history, how you will be given a vehicle, whether it needs only artificial intelligence or the data science, both will be integrated, because the nearby geographical region is to be identified, and within that how many vehicles are there, it is also to be identified, which is more nearer, that is analyzed, and then only it is suggesting you the specific driver whom you can board with. So this is how AI as well as data science are related and helps you to overcome all the problems. Thank you.